Hey, the numbers. Don't normally see you turning up first. Feels like you turning up at a nightclub at 10 o'clock rather than when it's actually rolling at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because there are advantages of turning up at a nightclub at 10 o'clock. If you get there early, you get your stamp, and then you can come back later, and you don't have to pay for entry. Ed, Daniel, Ian, Gustavo. Alright, so we got 17. I have no idea what's wrong with this one. Yeah, actually, maybe I do. It's got liquid damage on it. Alright. Since it's got a liquid damage marker on there and I can see the backlight output caps are already discolored, and it's on one side that they're discolored, which means it was running for quite a bit while it was immersed. We're just going to take the board out. We don't need to diagnose the issue per se. We need to initially see what the state of the board is in and make an assessment based on that. B-blood. Let's see, T5. So what have we got here? We've got a 840, I think. 875? I can't remember. I always forget which one is which based on whether the PI USB 3232 is there or not. So which one's this? Okay, yeah, the 875 is the one that doesn't have the extra chip. Aren't you guys supposed to have like work or something to do, or you just sit around waiting for live streams? If you want really long live streams that go on all day, then you should check out Computer Buddha. He does consoles mostly, but his streams go on for a very long time. He basically streams his entire workday. Let's see, Daniel, just finished moving home and you're exhausted, time to sit down. Oh, very good. Was it a long shift, as in long distance, or was it in the same sort of neighborhood? Shifting can be quite a traumatic process. Yeah, with the amount of liquid damage I'm seeing here, I'm kind of worried that the keyboard or the screen are going to be jacked up anyway. I do particularly hate it when I see the camera chips all jacked. This thing's really actually been for a very bad swim. I don't have the greatest of hopes with this one. Hey, Keith McDermott. Because it gets very frustrating when you can fix up the logic board and then you find out that the keyboard's no good or the screen's no good, and of course naturally with a machine like this, at that point the customer's like, maybe we shouldn't have bothered to fix it. It's like, ugh. And for some reason they expect you to not, ask for money for the work you've done. At the very least, if they're going to do that, they could sort of go, well look, tell you what, you can have the machine. Okay, I'd consider that to be a fair compromise in that case. So you've done the work, they don't want to fix the machine. Seems reasonable that you'd at least go, well, I'll take the machine then. But no, most people go, no, you can't have that, you get that for nothing, you can't have something for nothing. We're going to put it in our drawer and let it rot for the next 5 years. Hey Tony, Christos, Pachamba. I'm reading out everybody's name, I've got to stop doing that. Greetings to all. Oh, was Jim streaming, was it? Holy crap, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible. And it's been someone's. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if we ever get this to run, that would be quite the miracle. Someone's already been picking away at this. Camera chip is completely cactus. Oh my god. Thunderbolt's going to be cactus. Amazingly, it hasn't touched the CD3215s, and these are the BO3s. Wow. Wi-Fi's... Yeah, my god. Why am I even going to try this? I don't know. Backlight's certainly end of the road for that. Camera controller, like I said, I can get another one of those. You do have to handle them very sensitively. But yeah, I'm going to guess that the backlight doesn't... this is just awful. Yeah, but they've become very expensive. They used to be dirt cheap. People used to just throw them away. But now, you're right, they're very expensive. And so we're all... And the worst thing is, it means that donor boards for this model, yeah, they used to go for the usual sort of maybe 20, 30 bucks. Now they're extremely expensive. All because of that connector. So I'm going to take this shield off because I won't be surprised if there's damage in that Thunderbolt controller area. I'm also going to take this off. Christian, it's a bit later than usual. I mean, I've already done micro for the night. Okay, where's this 1666? So yeah, first thing we'll do is get that shield off. Okay. Can you move next door? Oh, okay. A3X. Well, that's probably not a bad way of doing a move. I approve of that idea. Let's get the extractor on. Well, I'm glad the cats are happier and that it's bigger. It's always nice. Normally I don't really bother with flux when I'm doing this removal, but because of just the sheer amount of liquid damage, I'm taking the opportunity to throw some flux in. it's a far more controlled removal of this shield if you use like gravity as your friend. Hey, Rilla. Well, amazingly, actually, nothing seems to have gotten into the Thunderbolt control area. That's quite a surprise. This camera controller that's just gonna have to come off. Hey there, Bytefix. Can't say I recognize the name, or if you just changed the logo. Apologies if you have been around and I failed to recognize you. Hey there, Jim. But yeah, this chip, it is very sensitive to heat, so I'm definitely killing it when I'm doing this. But it's not a big problem because it's dead anyway. Just the amount of crap that was under it, it definitely needed replacement. Doesn't look too bad from there, but you can see just over this area there's all that corrosion, so consider that a dead one. Long time viewer, first time chatter. Well, congratulations on your first time chat. Thank you very much for actually coming in and saying hello. It's always nice to hear from the people that have been sitting around on the sidelines. Got no problems with people sitting on the sidelines. It's just always nice to actually say hello and welcome. We're going to clean up that mess. I'm actually going to hit it with some leaded solder first. It's a fair bit of a mess. I'm going to have to clean up a lot of those caps first. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to just drop a new chip in and it will all be okay, because it certainly will not be. Hey there, Blue Streak. F1 Lab. Is it possible for a chip to die from heat before the solder starts to liquefy? Yes. Yes, mostly because when you're doing this sort of hot air rework, you're having to rely on a fairly aggressive temperature gradient to get the chip to get it to happen in a moderate amount of time. The reason why they don't die when they go through a reflow is because it's all happening at the right sort of rate. It also peaks out at only about 250. So yeah, it's a very different environment between going through the reflow in the oven versus rework like this. Blue Streak, I can understand that. I do that with a few of some other people, which is sort of nice to, as you say, have that background. Alright, so that's eliminated that iffy area. Okay, this here is our Thunderbolt controller, I think. Yeah, that's the Thunderbolt controller ROM. So we may have to redo that one. And that there is our Bluetooth Wi-Fi ROM. And I'm gonna guess we might have to do that one. Now I'm a little worried because I don't want to have to change that, so I'm hoping that it's okay, but we'll see. That resistor's off. You can just see when I gave it a little bit of a push, it moves. So that one's off too, I think. Yeah. they're going to have to be fixed up. I have to be careful around this chip here. You heat this up and the internal parts will get upset and it will no longer work. So yeah, it's going to be fun. This is definitely going to need replacing, as are a few of these parts. It's a big clean-up job, this one. Sort of taking off parts and see if I can get a point where we have 20 volts, and then once we have the 20 volts I can sort of work back. Now it probably already does have 20 volts, but I want to at least clear away some likely culprits before I do that. I'm going to give this area a little bit of a flux and boil. I'm not going to be hitting it with full reflow temperatures. I just want enough temperature, enough heat to get the flux to activate and start chewing away a little bit on the corrosion. I think what I'll do is I'll lift up the ROM chip, and definitely these two resistors have to take a hike. I'll probably put this under a bit of protection. Yes, having a decent hot air station goes a long way towards making these, making your work actually fix things rather than destroy things. Because those cheap hot air stations, they just can't get the energy down fast enough, and so you end up roasting everything. Even though they've got less even though they've got less power, they roast it because of the fact they have less power. So you just end up sort of cooking the outside more than anything else. This data recovery. This would be an attempt at full repair. There's no need to do data recovery on 1708s because you can just take the drive and put it in another board. So yeah, this is a repair to run. I'm pretty sure these are I2C lines. Yeah, I think I'm going to lift that chip. Bifix, I don't know what that chip is, but it sounds like the joyous things like T2s and most of the Apple CPUs now, where they've sandwiched the CPU and the RAM together. So thank you so much, just what we always wanted. Not too worried about these two little caps on the side, they're just high frequency stabilization. They're there to give compliance, for emissions regulatory stuff like that. Although they are pretty jacked up. Which means they might cause trouble later. Let's get the Grim Reaper out. Pull them away a bit. Hello, Mr. Coda. How are you? I haven't had a chance to watch the video of your new setup or anything, so I do apologise. I haven't been keeping up with your activities. To be fair, I've been pretty busy with the kitty cats. It's now a bit over 24 hours since we got Maple back after she was desexed. She's doing really well. We had a bit of a bleeding issue last night, but that got resolved. And then this morning she was all good. The problem is basically she was already probably halfway through a pregnancy, and yeah, we had her desexed, and whenever they're in their pregnancy, it carries that sort of risk. But she's all good now. It's just such a sweet thing. Got to keep them all. Got to keep them all. So you've been editing old content, getting the new bench set up. Oh yeah, that's what I saw. I saw a thumbnail of you asking something about how to do the bench or something. I'm not quite sure. It was, I can't remember whether it was early this morning. Well, both would have been early this morning, but whether it was 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I can't remember. Yeah, okay, this should be right. She's doing really well today. And then of course we have the other one who is extremely pregnant, and she's going to drop and pop. Her baby's going to pop out sooner or later, like definitely within the next 7 days, I would say. So we didn't get to her soon enough, which is unfortunate, because it would have been nice to simply have her desexed before they got too far, but we just couldn't get our hands on her soon enough. So we're going to have to. It's going to be her second litter. So, but we're not 100% happy about it because of the fact that there's already far too many unwanted around. If we had been better organised, we could have prevented this, but we just weren't. Hey Zoltan, who was fined for littering? Ah, crikey, burning my fingertips. Keep changing my mind whether I prefer to move the microscope or the boards when it comes to the part swap situation. So I end up doing both. Move the board and this microscope just to make it more difficult. Bite fix, put it this way, you can't count it on your fingers. You need your fingers and a good number of toes. And then, of course, that's going to expand considerably when the litter is born. And it's not that we don't go out of our way to sort of go, oh, we want more cats or anything like that. It's simply a case of they're abandoned animals, and we do what we can to give them a better life. And somehow or another they have trouble leaving here. Like, we have our inner circle of them, so to speak. The likes of Micro, who's our diabetic cat. And then we have wildlings. And then now we've got the randos. We would be much happier if we didn't have to do any of this, but someone's got to do it. Alright, so that hopefully we might. I'll just check there's no short across here, not that it should matter anymore. But we might get 20 volts now, maybe, possibly. Is there a veer in there? There's a frickin' veer in there, right? That's not going to work. That's definitely going to have to fix that up. That there is probably one of the. It's either Mossy, Miso, or Clock. We'll bring up the board view and schematic, and you can have a look. Yeah, but fix we. Like I said, we didn't intend to do this, but it's how it ended up. And it's, costs a lot of money. We could be spending that money on ourselves, but we don't. Like, we're having to put up a fence now. Like, what am I thinking of? Desexing costs us about $500 a cat for the females. And we're installing a fence, and that's $15,000. So yeah, it's biting into the budget a bit. Okay, what is that? Oh, that's ROM hold. Okay, it's not what I thought it was. Okay, that one there is the SPI clock. So I thought this was going to be SPI Mossy or Miso. But even still, that needs to be reconnected. So where does that go? Weird. Why would that have a veer in it? I'm wondering whether that actually does have a veer, or whether it's just some random bit of crap. You should be putting that. Could be, yes, I could be putting it towards my home loan. I mean, I already do put quite a bit into the home loan. I'm putting in more than the bank wants me to. They emailed me the other day, you don't need to put so much money into your home loan. It's like, no, I'm good. Okay, yeah, I was wrong. I thought there was a veer going through there, but it was just a drag. It's pretty normal. It's actually cheaper in this town than it is in Townsville on the coast. The reason why also it's a little bit more expensive is because we get them chipped, and we also ensure that they have fluids for the surgery. So if you take chips and fluids out of the equation, you're probably down to $390, $400. Actually, you're probably about $380. Okay, Coda. Much appreciate you dropping in. Let's see what we get with this. Okay, we've got 20 volts coming up, which is good. So now we have to see if we can get backlight, and if we can get backlight and everything else going, then we can have a look at get that camera back. So, yeah. Price to start. Jimbo, is that male or female? Because there's huge difference in the surgical procedures. Female, €147. That is actually quite a good price. That's about 250 Australian, I think. Even if it was 300. Yeah, Steve, let's see, the bank only wants 173 a week from me for the home loan. So I give them 470 or so. But they won't let me put all of that into the home loan, so the rest goes into the offset account. And so the combination of the offset account as well as everything else, I'm down to around about, I think about 89,000 left to pay. I would love to pay that off quickly, but I've only got to wait until this time next year and my restrictions will be lifted. But of course the problem is I'm spending all the money so far on the renovations of the house. Like last year we did a considerable, we did a lot of tiling. We had to, trust me, we had to. And fixed up a couple of rooms, and then we did the solar installation. So I think we spent around about 35 to 40,000 last year just trying to get the house to the point where we could actually live in it. But it's still got quite a bit more to go. Is Pedro my harsh. Well, like I said, Townsville is quite a bit more expensive. I think they're around about $600 for the same procedure. Okay, there's a problem under that resistor there. There's a bit of what we call board bleeding. I just want to lift it up and see what's going on. 280 for Tamworth. Was that... I guess the question is, what is included with that? Because like I said, we get them to have fluids, pre-checks, blood tests, blood press, blah blah blah, a pre-check blood test. There's a whole bunch of stuff. If you go for the bare minimum, you probably could get down to that, but we prefer to eliminate as many risks as we can. Delboy? Who the hell is Delboy? Okay, well, as you can see, my fear was appropriate. This is where all that blood that I was talking about was from. There is definitely a veer that's under there. The question is, where does it go? Hopefully, if we're lucky, it's just a generic ground or something like that. I think it is, but we'll have to check. Let's see, schematics. What am I looking at? Cap, and then, oh, it's actually a resistor. Really? That was a resistor? Oh, just checking on the other board. Yes, indeed, it actually is a resistor. Ah, well, that means it's definitely going to go somewhere important. Oh, PP5VO. Okay, so we can grab it from up here, assuming that it isn't actually taking it from here. At that rate, you'll likely have loan cleared in 10 years, having no mortgage payments. Yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping I can get it done in no more than 3 more, preferably 2 more. If I can get a lot more sales, that would help. We're going to have to chase this. English hedgehog. I cannot speak, I do apologise. Thank you very much for the £5. £5, that's a decent bag of coffee there. Okay, we do not have continuity between that and that. So I'm kind of wondering... Yeah. I need to find an additional play. Okay. This here is 5V. Okay, they're connected. Alright, well, we're going to take a gamble. We'll put the resistor back here. after I fix this area up, because I don't think I can really get down onto that nub of that view. It's sort of sunken in a little bit too far to realistically regenerate it. And we'll run a wire up to here, and hopefully we'll be okay. Hey, full wave. This cap could do to be removed anyway as well. It's pretty hard. It's had a hard life. Likewise these two and that. Today I start a new job title. No longer remote fix windows. What's your new title? Bytex, what sort of boards are you dealing with? Believe me, I've got to fight a lot to get these board views. There's a bit of a trend going on at the moment where people are holding on to the board views out of China. So, yeah, normally in the past, as soon as the board view came out, everybody was like, here you go, share, 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 share. Now it gets locked into various non-English programs, and that's where it just stays, and no one releases it as a BRD or a BVR or anything. Agricultural electronics. Oh, okay. So like truck stuff, or you more mean like remote sensing stuff for agriculture? I would have thought. Nah, who knows? I shouldn't think. That's my first mistake. I should think. If I'm thinking, then I must be wrong because I'm thinking. Water controllers, all that sort of stuff. Anything to do with machinery and precision agriculture. Alright, now there's a term I haven't heard before. Precision agriculture. That's different. Now, when you say precision agriculture, the first thing that comes to my mind is some robot roaming through the fields, the rows, killing off weeds. Hey, laptop. Stephen W. What if I only think I'm thinking, but I'm not really thinking? Let's see, tractor, header, sprayers, seeders. Okay. Yeah, well, I see a fair bit about like the robotic weeders that use lasers or whatever they're using to kill off the weeds. It seems like a good concept. At least from the outset. I don't know what sort of actualities are involved. What's the reason that you don't get board views? Is it because the manufacturers just don't do it like most, or I don't know. Yeah, is there any chance of getting board views? Because all they've got to do is like export out as GenCAD or something like that, and then you can view them. Think of an embedded system that talks over CAN-bus controllers sending and receiving commands. Okay, so it's sort of like a agricultural car. That sounds interesting, actually. Is a lot of the stuff very sort of vertical market custom design, or yeah, you're dealing with bigger companies like John Deere for it? Really proprietary stuff? Okay, that actually sounds really up my alley. I used to design remote stuff for. There was a couple of wildlife projects that we're doing for tracking of dingoes and things like that. It was fun, very enjoyable. I think the hardest thing is keeping the funding up, though. Very quickly you go through that money. Bad Reading, it's just electronics rework, I suppose, is the term for it. Wait, which one's the good one? Oh right, this is the bad one. Right, I think I took this resistor here, third from the bottom. Yeah, third from the bottom. I've got to transport that across. Case, New Holland, John Deere. Okay, so actually really big brand names. Alright. I don't think the horses rely on electronics. Then again, they're not really agriculture much anymore, are they? Unless they still use Clydesdales around the place. Well, in that case, if you're dealing with the big brand companies, I suppose, unfortunately, you're sort of in a bad situation with regards to getting their board views and schematics. What's the sort of part density like, in the sense of, is it something that you could reverse engineer to any degree? Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible. Actually, you know what? They probably chip the Clydesdales now, so they would be electronically controlled. Okay, we're just getting another backlight controller. Oh, you guys still being hit by chip shortages? That's nasty. Yeah. A lot of the chip shortages that didn't really affect our modern stuff. Oh god, that's just as bad as what we're replacing. It's mostly the older chips that were the ones that were hit with the whole issue, because the fabs, it just isn't economical for them anymore to be producing these large litho. There we go. These large litho chips anymore. You could do 10 modern chips with the amount of space that's required to do one of the older single chips. '80s and '90s, yeah. Oh, hey babe, not to sleep. Okay, who's in and out? Anybody with you? Loki's with you, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, alright. Alright, so, damn it, carpet fluff. That was just my wife giving me the good night update, letting me know the status of all the felines, where they were, who's with what, what's doing what, so that when I get up from here. I don't have a system shock. New tractors can have 30 controllers in one machine. But still, I wonder, yeah, what sort of controllers are they using? Because I guess the reason why I'm asking is because, like, niemand. I have for a very long time always used things like Atmel AVR controllers, and I just couldn't get my hands on the damn things recently. But then I found that the newest release of the AVR controllers were actually in very easy supply. They were entirely new litho process compared to the old ones. Cheap, plentiful, no troubles. But the stuff that I was normally used to using, which is now about 20 years old, they were a lot harder to get a hold of. Yeah, Big Faz Basis said movie designs to 28. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Nodes is the word I was looking for. Thank you very much for that, Stephen. When I was saying fab, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I know there's another word I'm supposed to be using, but what is it? And thankfully you brought it up and said nodes. It drives me mad when I can't come up with that word. One controller for each signal. Oh my goodness, okay. Yeah, I can see that would be hell. And I guess the big problem is when they change down to 28, there's going to be a lot of issues with regards to the thermal durability or the capacity for those parts to cope with the heat. Yeah, because it's basically it requires them to do a complete rewrite. And everything just behaves differently. So I guess it depends on how they designed the chip originally, whether it was using microcode to generate the design, or whether they went all out with the let's draw it out ourselves. Like, it cracks me up when I find the occasional board around here and, you know, it's a relatively new piece of gear or whatever, but it's using things like IRF 940 TO220 MOSFETs on it, and I'm like, what the hell? I mean, they can take a hell of a beating, those MOSFETs, but they're seriously inefficient compared to what we have these days. And a backup controller controls the signal like controller just in case signal controller breaks down and needs to be reported to the main controller. Yep. That's how they'll do it. So turtles all the way down. Okay, we're just going to put this into the cooling system. There we go. Slinux. How do you actually pronounce that? I always say Slinux. Although I suppose it should be actually Slinks. Anyway, APR. It's funny when you see a word so often, but you never actually stop to ask yourself, how should that actually be pronounced? Or at least I'm the sort of person that takes a tenth of a second glance at a word and it presumes how it should be pronounced. And I can guarantee 9 times out of 10, I am wrong. Okay, we're just wiping this down because we're going to put the chassis back on, and I don't want any flux residue getting onto the back of it. Hey there, Prater. But yeah, Bugfix, it would be nice if there were board views and stuff for a lot of that gear. And I'm trying to encourage people to look for that sort of stuff or ask for it. Yeah, with this sort of board view software, people just presume a lot of the time it's just for Macs or maybe a couple of laptops, but really it's a generic interface. It's just sort of a, how could you say, a very limited EDA software functionality. It just shows the board view and couples it with the schematic, and that's it. There's plenty of times where I've sort of said to people, why don't you have you got a board view and schematic or something, or and sometimes it's around, but they just didn't think to use it. Not saying that's the case with you at all. I know in your situation, your work environment or production environment, it's probably a non-existent, as you say. Alright, we've got to see if this is going to come up. I'm going to use the USB-C version of my boot stick. See if we get anything better than a bang. When did I invest in a larger map? A while ago now. Probably about 3 months, I think. Alright. We've got power, sort of, maybe, feeling like. But we definitely don't see it under backlight. Oh shit, no, we're down to... Okay, we're back up again. We got cap locks. Okay, cap locks is bursting up. But we might be cycling. Just going to see if that cap lock stays on. I'm going to get my torch. Doesn't seem like we've got a backlight. Okay, yeah, we don't have a backlight. I can see the folder select, like, whether you want which drive to boot from. So we know the CPU is good. We know that the keyboard is at least partially working, but the backlight is trucked at the moment. That's okay. It's progress. Yeah, we're not overly surprised that the backlight's messed up. So what are we going to look for? Well, first thing we're going to look for is the fuse even working on the backlight? That's this thing here. Ah, damn it, the fuse is okay. Well, that's a colossal disappointment now, isn't it? Boo hiss. Not allowed to have something as... Okay, could be a MOSFET. MOSFET? Oh my god, Paul, learn to speak. Okay, that's out. Pretty sure that's on the right orientation. Yep, the orientation's good. We just got a quad display. There we go. Alright, we're going to do some diode mode measurements and see if anything sort of feels a bit off. Okay, so for the big inductor we've got 0.38 and we've got 0.36. That's pretty damn close to me. And we've got 114 for the output Okay, 116, again, close enough. Let's see, 67, close enough. Well, it could be something like a flyback or a sense line that's broken through. Alright, so these are all looking pretty good. You can go around the chip and check them out. So, let's see, 47, 52, yeah. Okay. It's not always easy. Okay, we'll check the test pads because they're the easy things. 4.6 versus 5.2, tolerable. 4.7, 5.2, tolerable. Okay, there we go, we got one. Oh, have we? No, it's called not pushing your tip hard. 4.3, 4.5, that's good. And that's also good. .45. Yep. 0.48. Yep. Run the jumper wire. What jumper wire? Oh, damn it. Yes. Thank you, Six Skills. Oh my goodness. No. Thank you for that, Six Skills. Yes. I would have got there in a couple more steps because that was heading down to it. Right. Looks like I owe Six Skills a favour now. Damn it. The penalty of being stupid. Where's my wires? Let's get ourselves a couple of crowbar wires. By crowbar I mean probably what, 30 gauge. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for the insulated version. Damn it. And I can't use the Litz wire because it's just not quite thick enough for this application. It would tend to impart a fairly notable level of resistance. Okay, so these two here go down to that. So we're going to bridge these just to give us a little bit more mechanical bite. Bite fix, unfortunately, when it comes to things like Mac or PC laptops and phones and things like that, the concept of doing a full dip conformal doesn't tend to work out so well. For the reasons are thermal reasons and also connectivity reasons. There's just simply too many fine pitch connectors. At the end of the day, it doesn't happen often enough for it to warrant the issue, the expense, and there'll be different complications. I'm actually probably just prejudiced against the idea because it would reduce the amount of work I get. So I'm protecting my own interests here. But at the same time, if something does go wrong, it would be quite a bit more of a pain in the backside to repair it if it is conformal coated like that, silicon coated. I really do not enjoy repairing logic boards that have got that coat on them. It's not too bad, that link. It's probably, I would have liked maybe 1 gauge up, or thicker I should say, which means 1 gauge down. But anyway, yeah, I would have liked the next size of thickness, but we're going to have to deal with what we got here. Christos, I just did wire the resistor. Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with, point, 0.5 mil is quite typical these days, if not smaller. And then, yeah, it's a tricky job. It's a tricky job, and you'd more likely they would have a tremendous amount of difficulty in filling the voids properly. So, and of course, it's weight, more weight. And if there's one thing that Apple and a lot of people hate in their manufacturing is adding weight to portable devices. That said, they do use metal chassis, so anyway. I sort of look at the silicon coat idea as a bit like trying to stop piracy with software. And it's like, yeah, you can do that and you will stop a number of things, but at the same time, it's not going to stop everything. And the amount of extra effort, cost, etc. that you have to put in for that small gain probably isn't worth it. So you sort of design it enough to handle the bulk of the situations of which it's going to find itself. And with personal devices, liquid, while it does seem like it's a lot, really, when you think about how many tens of millions of devices we've got out there, and you have maybe 1/10% that actually suffer liquid damage within their used life. Okay, let's plug this in and I'll stop croaking away like I'm some sort of bad Bob Hawke impersonator.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. PP5 to yeah, that's one we just did. Oh. Well, that doesn't look like it solved it. No, it's just something else amiss. I think. I haven't got anything actually. I've got cap box. Funnily enough, I've got nothing on display. Did I plug in the screen? Yep. That's weird. We've gone from... Oh, there we go. Did I not plug the keyboard in properly? I'm thinking the keyboard's not plugged in properly, or there's an issue with the keyboard in general. Anyway, it boots. We've got our backlight. It's going to be slow because I haven't plugged in the battery. It's probably missing a couple of sensors. But it'll achieve what we need to. Okay. I must have just missed pressing the option key. Kind of curious what it's going to come up with that Wi-Fi, because I'm worried about, I saw the corrosion around the Wi-Fi. It's picked up my Wi-Fi network, even though I haven't got the antennas connected. That makes sense because it's like a meter away, so there's enough field strength for it to pick up even without the antennas. Yeah, I might fix that dreaded heart sync, and you're like, oh no. And it's also terrible how long time seems to take. Like if you're used to it booting in 3 seconds, that 3 seconds when you know you're sort of hanging out for it to boot again can feel like it takes 30 seconds. I love that feeling when you're doing remote restart of a server at a place where nobody actually is, and if it doesn't restart properly, you have to get on a plane and justify why the hell it didn't restart properly. Okay, we don't want that. Okay, up, down, up. Okay, that's good. Space, yep, that's good. Escape, yep. Okay, the keys are all working good, so that's good. Nice. Let's see, does scary cam work? No camera available because we don't have the camera chip on there. So I knew it was going to be a little bit too early for me to celebrate. Let's check the audio. Okay, that's okay. The speakers aren't connected. Shut down. Okay, so now we've got to do a camera chip. But at least we've got our backlight. It's booting. We're making progress. To be fair, on a board like this, it's economically it's questionable as to whether it was worth fixing or not. Especially considering that you can just take the data off this drive and move it to a new machine. Okay, so for the camera chip, fortunately, they are used everywhere among the series of MacBooks. And the best thing is that this one prominently features on the A1466s. So that's where we're going to get our camera chip from. The trick is finding one that looks the same. Let's see. Alright, this has got the right type on it. That's nice, first one. Strange quirk in physics. Server reboot always takes longer when you have to make remote shrink. Yes. Takes longer or just simply never comes back. It's kind of like you release it from its commitment. Alright, so we've got a nice healthy looking camera chip. It's time to do the process. Now remember, these ones do not like heat, so we do have to go at it pretty slowly. Usually I go at about 360. I might drop to 340. First thing I'm going to do is get that corner support goo off. get some flux in under there. And yeah, I'm going to drop to 340 on this one. So just changing the air up a bit. And unfortunately, you don't really know if you've succeeded or not until it's installed on the new MacBook. And if you're lucky, it'll work. If you're not, it won't. I guess it's pretty simple. And of course, this does have to be reballed as well. What does make it frustrating is that we are dealing with a fairly hefty logic board, so you really have to have your patience. It's not like it's going to be a SMC where you can just blast it off. I might actually change to a different lifter as soon as I can find it. There it is. Okay, as you know, this is my little flippy chip. And this is going to tell me when it's ready. We go. Hey there, Paul Glick. And that looks like it was a pretty good extraction. Trying to contemplate whether I'll just reflow, whether I'll just put the balls straight on top. Because if I run the soldering iron over it, there's always more risks. There's a few bumps here and there, but like I said, they'll get converted. I can't do it. I gotta flatten it over. Damn it! Why me? Yeah, I think I'm gonna just stencil and paste over that. We'll see how it comes out. I've knocked off the worst offenders, so I don't want to go along and have to scrub in all of those grey pads, because they usually tend to clear themselves up when you do the reballing anyway. Because they're not actually oxidized per se, you know, they're not, I'm not going to say, yeah, they're not oxidized, they're just that color because of the way that the pad separated away when we, not the pad, the ball separated away when we lifted it. Do you encounter bare vias sitting right between BGA pads and, oh, yeah, you do get the occasional set, but fortunately Apple does a pretty good job with their boards, and they're certainly not bare, put it that way. The only time they'd be bare is if you've done a bit of a bad job with the lift and, you know, scratched it up or something. Yeah, that's going to work out alright. Now I've just got to find a stencil for this. That's the fun part. Well, that's fun part 2, because fun part 1 is finding my stencils. Anyone who's watched this channel long enough will know that that's constantly... here they are. Hey Greg. And naturally I have depleted the alcohol out of my stencil tray. Whoops. Okay, 12:30, we're kind of running late. I blame you all. I wouldn't call it paranoia, by the way, that you cover them. I would too. It's just too much of a risk not to. Yeah, you've only got to put that BGA down slightly off, and you know that that bare via will call it like a siren. Yeah, so not matching around here. Great, that's the right pitch space and everything, but not the big enough. Okay, not that stencil. Try another one. I think this might be one of the chips that I have to use a generic stencil on. I do it enough to know that I can do them, but not enough to remember how I do them, if that makes any sense. There we go, yeah, I'd say I've been using generics. Yeah, it's interesting, that's fouling up because of the lead balls. Because of the ball that remained in that stencil, it's created a coloration shift, a rainbow effect. It's kind of scary. Hey there, GD. It's scary because you go, wow, what glorious lead compound have you created? No, the chip's actually not corroded, it's just simply, it's an illusion. Yeah, that should be fine. It's an illusion. Alright, so now we've got to make some slightly crusty paste. Come on, out you come. Nope, you ain't coming. Stick a thinner thing up the tip. Let's see if we can gouge it out. Still not. It's fine, we go for the found a company in China that make custom stencils with 10 baht. Yeah, you'll find most of them do now. Like whenever I submit designs for circuit boards, I can always just get a stencil done for a couple of bucks. It's very handy, that's for sure, I agree. I'm even fine with just mylar ones rather than stainless steel, although most of the time they don't really give you a choice of what material it is. It's like, you're taking stainless steel, and like, oh, okay. But mylar would be perfectly fine for most of my prototypes because I usually only do it, you know, five or six uses of the stencil, and then it goes in the bin. Oh no, I just realised I broke my spudger. Oh, I am up the creek. Up the creek. I don't have a spudger. Okay, improvise, Paul. Improvise. And no, credit cards do not work. Not for this scale. Ah, here we go. Oh, I found a way around it. Yeah, but it's a bit ridiculous, the prices that some places want, you know, if it's... And they wonder why production has gone over to China and similar places. It's like, it's just not affordable to do it any other way. You gotta be kidding yourself if you think that you can remain competitive in this market at prices like that. I suppose it could be a case of those sort of people are actually intentionally priced out like that because they're part of, like, they've probably got defense contracts. And if they've got defense contracts, well, then they don't really care about simpletons like us. Oh, Lindstrom tweezers. How useless. I can't believe I spent money on these tweezers. Don't get me wrong, I mean the brand's pretty good, but they're soft as all feck, which is great if that's what you want in tweezers. You know, there are definitely situations where you want super soft tweezers and stuff, but not for this stuff. Anyway, what the hell? My air's up much higher than I expected, that's right. Wrong tweezers to use. I burnt my damn fingers. I kept holding on because I didn't want to redo it, but I burnt my fingers. I'm applying a little bit of flux there because it just... some of those grey pads that I was talking about, they didn't take properly. So just a bit of flux, add some more heat again, and they should be good. Stainless steel is recyclable. Oh yeah, and sorry, when I say throw in the trash, I mean it goes down to the dump, but the dump has, metal section and stuff like that. What I mean is that I don't use them again. Damn it. Yeah, definitely not the tweezers that I meant for this job. Oh well, I was trying something and it didn't work out. I saw you moving. Oh, you're probably just a floater because... you remember this chip has a lot of non-populated pads. Yeah, it looks like we've got one or two that are in the wrong place. Well, not the wrong place, but... this... Geez, these things are ball bearings. That's what happens when you put paste all over the chip. Okay, so we've got that one there, that one there. Ah, looks like a hair was the culprit there. We're just going to reapply those all manually. Another hair. So they had a few more hairs involved in this situation than I realised. Oh no, you don't. Wait, why am I using tweezers for that? When I'm at this stage of the reball, that's when I bring out the knife. Okay. The knife is infinitely more controllable. We're going to keep a couple of these on hand, because we will probably need them. Oh, you lousy little... Okay, let's go back to the stencil. Yeah, I'll just stick them on the stencil. Good, good, good. Basically what I'm looking for at the moment are the bridge over ones. Things like this. These that came from pads that weren't actually there in the first place. Alright, now we should be able to go back here. And in theory, try and avoid having to do this again. Now the problem is that the chip has gotten a bit cold now, so that flux is getting really sort of bondy with me. And we're going to drop down to about 7% air, not much more than that. There's another one there. Okay, so let's see if we can get these two over on the right to just pop onto their pads. Sir, can I interest you in a pad? And this one's like, no, I want to stick on some balls here. Yeah, okay, we're going to move that away because it's obviously in the mood to misbehave. Aims to misbehave. Realistically, I should have just scrapped it and done it again, but hey, where's the challenge in that? Okay, one's down. I'm watching this one over here too. It's like you got to be outwardly anti-cross-eyed. For some reason this one doesn't want to drop. I'm going to use a knife for this stage. It's like Minecraft. Yeah, that one's good. Yeah, for some reason this one is either a hair or an oxide barrier there. I'm going to go for hair. Or it's some really... Okay, there it goes. Pop. Beautiful. What are you? You're a nobody. Yeah, I think that's them. Okay, we'll just pump up the air a little bit. $20. Nope, give it a whirl. Yeah, but I think it's some days you just have good luck. Some days you just don't. Okay, so our surface looks pretty good. I'm going to replace these 2, 3 caps, 4 maybe. Yeah. Because remember, I can at least do these caps now at a higher temperature. But I can't once we've got the chip back on. Because if I rework them at the normal temperatures which we're using, it will ruin them. Ruin the chip. Go, one down. There's a big hole in there. I think you mean unofficial Mac Jason? I think he's either recovering or he's in the air, flying back from Japan. I can't remember now what point he would be at. Okay, they've got a whopping great big hole there. That's a concern. That's what the dentist tells me every time. I'm gonna have to give this a bit of a scrub. Way I feel it, I think they probably used something like a toothbrush when they did their first attempt at cleaning this board. Got some engine ECU BGAs on flexible. Oh yeah. The flexible definitely does change the frustration level a bit. Do you get a reasonable return on investment, like for your work? Or do you find it's a constant battle? Or are you sort of covered by, you're a part of a bigger group and you get your wage and you're good? Yeah, I know they're bridged. Just like they're bridged now too. Niemand. Gotcha. Yeah, good question. Where's Miles? Actually, and where's Jim Hook? Was he busy doing his own thing? Honestly, you go from having not enough solder on there to too much solder. It's never ending. And here we go. Here is Jason. 1708 with substantial liquid damage on it. Okay, this is probably going to be a high frequency cap here and it's lost its pad. Might not be worth putting that back. So what are you? The first one... 3v3 SO, yeah, okay. It's just not going to be worth putting that back. So that's a 100 nanofarad. Yeah. We can get away with leaving that off there. Otherwise I've got to sort of rebuild things. Some places you cannot leave the cap off. Some places you can. You have to understand what the caps are there for, and then you can make the evaluation. Well, it's interesting. This one doesn't even seem to have... I suspect that... I can't imagine I would have yanked that cap off. Anyway, this is the donor board. Building your new Bafang full carbon endurance. Lewis will be jealous. Okay, so we want that cap and that cap as the first two chunkers. Oops, something went click. Yeah, that one. I'll take that top one first. So Jason's the new Beetlejuice, is he? Say his name a couple of times and boom, he appears. And I think it's one of those two. Interesting, we've actually got two there. Yes indeed, it's the bottom one. I actually need a little bit of flux there. Right. The other upside with what we've been doing is because we've been doing the rework all around here, overall it's gotten the board up to a bit of a temperature. So it's handy to preheat the board a bit before we put this chip down. And that way we don't have to put quite as much heat into the chip. Okay. Just gonna hit that flux a little more. There's a little bit too much flux there for my liking. Okay, that's more like it. And pin one's probably the hardest thing with this job, is getting the damned alignment. Ouch. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess that that's about right. Here we go. Alright, that's on there. going to stick it into the cooler. Certainly no guarantee that chip's even going to work, but if it doesn't, we'll just try another one. GD Tech, that push down and rock technique, it does work for things like SMCs and whatnot. I don't have much luck with it myself with these very fine pitch VGAs. I tend to find that, I don't know, maybe I don't have the sensitivity in my fingertips, at least that's my wife says that. Yeah, I sort of find either that or I'll skip an entire row or column. Okay, we don't have any flux down there, so that's good. I hate it when I do that. Might plug the battery in on this one too, so we can see whether we even have that circuitry going or not. At some point we have to test it. Oops. Put speaker in as well. It's always fun when you get to this point. You sort of invested so much time into the board, and you've got to take the step of applying a difficult to remove quickly device such as a battery, energy source. Well, at some point you've got to find out whether it's going to blow up or not. Okay, option key. Okay, we've got 20 volts. We've got normal current so far. Let's see how we go. Oh, pictures, right. Okay, just hang on there. Is this booting or is it... Yeah, just give me a... Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, so we've got backlight. Jason wants to see pictures, show pictures. Ah, pickies. Open. There you go. Oh. It's one. Oh geez, there's 10 of them. Or is there? Oh no, there's only 3. Okay, our battery must be charging because we're doing 2.5 amps, so that's pretty good. Interesting that it's still slow though. The fact that it's slow means we may still have a sensor issue somewhere. Okay, oh no, it's because we've got 1% battery, that's why. So basically the battery isn't charged, so it can't contribute to the rapid running of the machine. Okay. So here we go. FaceTime is the thing that we're interested in. There is another way I could have checked. I could have gone into about this machine and checked the camera controller ID or chip, and it would tell me. But this way works as well. It's just slower, which means it builds the suspense more. Come on. It works. So there you go. I think that will do it for this evening. We're at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's a little bit longer than I expected. We're almost at 2 hours. I've got 2 minutes before 2 hours. So, yeah. I still probably wouldn't normally invest this much into a machine, but some people like their old machines, and I'm happy to do it, but in terms of economics, it's not always the best, particularly when it's a liquid damage like this. So we had backlight controller, we had camera. What else do we have? Yeah. Oh, plus I've got to look at the Wi-Fi thing. There's a bit of corrosion around there, but that will get taken out by the ultrasonic cleaner. I guess the main thing I want to see is the battery coming up 1% here, because right now it's showing me nothing, and I have booted from the wrong stick. I have another stick which has coconut battery analyzer. This does not. But let's see, it is giving me a 2 hours until full, which indicates to us that as far as the system is concerned, the battery is fine. It just needs to be charged. If it doesn't like the battery, it would say, replace battery now and things like that. So as far as it's concerned, it's just flat, but it's happy with that. Alright, I'm out of here. Thank you once again for sitting around and watching, and to all the new people like BikeFix, thanks for dropping in and saying hello. Although I shouldn't say new, I know you're sitting in the background, and hopefully we'll see you in the future. I'm off to go do some coding and eat some food in the cool, quiet, dark night. I'll see you all tomorrow maybe. Catch you later.